Too. Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said an inquest will be held to determine the cause of death of firefighter Muhammad Adib Muhammad Kasim during the riots at a temple in Selangor last month. He said Attorney General Tommy Thomas, in his capacity as the public prosecutor, will direct a magistrate to conduct the inquiry under Section 339, subsection 1 of the Criminal Procedure Code. Tan Sri Muhyiddin, in a post on his Facebook account, said the Office of the Public Prosecutor will apply to the courts to set the date for the hearing as soon as possible and will assist the magistrate in conducting the inquest. He said the magistrate conducting the inquest will have ample power under Section 328 of the Criminal Procedure Code to determine the cause of death. The section states that the cause of death includes not only the apparent cause of death as ascertainable by inspection or post-mortem examination of the body of the deceased, but also all matters necessary to enable an opinion to be formed as to the manner in which the deceased came by his death. The section also states whether his death is resulted in any way from or was accelerated by any unlawful act or omission on the part of any other person. Muhammad Adib, 24, a member of the Emergency Service Unit from Subang Jaya Station in Selangor, was seriously injured after he was attacked by a mob at the Sri Mahamariamman Temple in USJ 25, Subang Jaya, on 27th November. He died at the National Heart Institute on 17th December. Federal Territories Deputy Minister Datuk Dr. Shahruddin Mat Saleh reiterated that the construction of any temples or houses of worship located in Kuala Lumpur must be registered under the Kuala Lumpur City Hall before any action is taken against them. He added that by right, the registration should be done before the construction of any house of worship.
Kita pun dah meminta supaya semua kuil-kuil yang ada dalam kawasan wilayah ni untuk didaftarkan. Kita tak tahu bahawa dengan pendaftaran tu kita boleh mengetahui apakah status sebenar kuil itu. Saya kira yang banyak faktor lain yang harus kita ambil kira sebelum apa-apa tindakan untuk kita ambil.
Datuk Dr. Shahruddin said the ministry has yet to set a time period for the owners of temples and house of worship to register their buildings, as they are still in discussion with DBKL on the matter. Datuk Dr. Shahruddin said this after officiating the Baiti Jannati program event in Lembah Pantai today. The Klang Magistrates Court issued a remand order to have Jaringan Melayu Malaysia President Dato' Azwandin Hamzah remanded for 4 days from today to assist investigations into an alleged provocative remark during a gathering organised by the Gerakan Rakyat Malaysia, or GERAS, at Dataran Seni, Klang, last Tuesday. Dato' Azwandin had allegedly made a provocative remark threatening to storm the Klang police station if those responsible for the death of firefighter Muhammad Adib Muhammad Kasim were not arrested. Magistrate Nik Nur Amalina Mat Zaidan issued the remand order under Section 506 of the Penal Code. Dato' Azwandin, who is also the advisor of Gagasan Tiga Malaysia, was represented by lawyer Dato' Imran Thamrin. Muhammad Adib, who was attached to the Subang Jaya Fire and Rescue Station, died on 17th December at the National Heart Institute IJN after he was severely injured during the riots at the Seafield Sri Mahamariamman Temple in USJ 25, Subang Jaya, on 27th November. Dato' Azwandin was arrested at 2:40 p.m. yesterday at the Kramat Mall in Jalan Datuk Kramat, Kuala Lumpur, for having allegedly threatened to storm a police station. The father and stepmother of a 5-year-old boy who died last night, believed to have been due to abuse, have been remanded for 7 days to facilitate investigations. The remand order was issued by Johor Bahru Magistrates Court Assistant Registrar Faridatul Farah Muhammad Shukri. The boy's father and his Indonesian stepmother are being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code, which carries the mandatory death sentence if convicted. The 5-year-old boy was unconscious with bruises and swellings on the right side of the face, chest, stomach and both legs when he was brought to the Sultan Ismail Hospital in Johor Bahru at midnight on Tuesday. Johor Bahru Selatan Deputy Police Chief Superintendent Muhammad Afan Nizam Yahya, in a statement, said police received a report on the death of the boy from a doctor on duty at the hospital at 12:50 a.m. Following a report lodged by the hospital, police arrested the boy's 33-year-old father, who worked as a chef, and his stepmother, 23, an Indonesian national who was unemployed, at their house in Taman Sentosa for further investigations. A labourer pleaded not guilty in the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today to a charge with attempting to murder his ex-girlfriend's father by stabbing the man with 2 knives 2 weeks ago. Mohammad Amirul Bongsu, 21, who is deaf-mute, made the plea after the charge was read out and explained in sign language to him by a court interpreter before Judge Rohatul Akmar Abdullah. He shook his head after the charge was read out and explained to him. Mohammad Amirul was charged with committing the offence on Muhammad Rodzi Jamaluddin, 64, at PPR Pinggiran Bukit Jalil, Cheras, at 8:30 p.m. on 14th December. The charge under Section 307 of the Penal Code provides an imprisonment for up to 20 years if found guilty. Deputy Public Prosecutor Kamarul Aris Kamaluddin, who prosecuted, did not offer bail. Lawyer Hanan Ishak, representing Mohammad Amirul, requested her client to be sent to a psychiatric specialist to determine his mental state at the time of the incident. The court set 7th February for mention to know the mental state of the accused. The Shah Alam Sessions Court today sentenced a former special officer to a former cabinet minister to 2 years in jail and a fine of 400,000 ringgit after he was found guilty of accepting an 80,000 ringgit bribe 4 years ago. Judge Rosila Saleh handed down the sentence against Zailan Jauhari, 48, under Section 16, subsection A of the Malaysia Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Act 2009. The accused was charged for accepting bribes for school cleaning tenders by the Education Ministry. He is also punishable under Section 24 of the same Act, which carries a maximum jail sentence of 20 years or a fine of no less than 5 times the bribe, or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher. The offence was allegedly committed at a restaurant in Kuala Selangor between 7:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. on 8th January 2014. The court also granted Zailan's application to halt the sentence pending his appeal to the High Court based on the condition that the fine is paid today. Judge Rosila also set bail at 50,000 ringgit with one surety. As many as 10 people were involved in an accident between 2 vehicles in front of Wisma Muiz at Jalan Tunku Abdul Rahman in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah early this morning. In the 5:30 a.m. incident, a Proton Wajar car collided with a Toyota Hi-Ace van, causing 1 person to be seriously injured, 7 with minor injuries and 2 others unhurt. According to a statement released by the Sabah Fire and Rescue Department Operations Centre, a call was received at 5:48 a.m. and a team of firefighters were rushed to their location. The victim, who was seriously injured, was identified as Mohammad Anafi Adnan, 31. All the victims were given early treatment by the Emergency Medical Rescue Service, EMRS, and medical personnel before being sent to the Queen Elizabeth I Hospital for further treatment. The statement further noted that the rescue work ended at 6:50 a.m. Attracting more women to join Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, or Bersatu, will be the main focus of its women's wing, Sri Kandi, at the party's second General Assembly to be held from tomorrow until Sunday. Sri Kandi Bersatu Chief Datuk Sri Rina Harun said, with Pakatan Harapan having won the 14th general election, it was now time for the party, which is led by Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, to fill the victory by increasing the party membership.
Kita nak latih Sri Kandi ini supaya dapat menjadi pemimpin, pemimpin yang baik, yang berkarisma di peringkat akar umbi hingga ke peringkat atasan.
Datuk Sri Rina said this during an interview with several media organizations recently in conjunction with the upcoming Bersatu Second General Assembly to be held at the Putrajaya International Convention Centre, PICC. A total of 600 Sri Kandi delegates are expected to attend the movement's first assembly, which will be opened simultaneously with that of Bersatu's youth movement, Armada, by Party President Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin tomorrow night. Deputy Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Nazrin Muizuddin Shah and Raja Pemaisuri of Perak, Tuanku Zara Salim, flew into Pulau Pinang today to begin a 2-day visit to the state. Sultan Nazrin, who is the Sultan of Perak, and Tuanku Zara were welcomed at the Pulau Pinang International Airport at 1:45 p.m. by Yang di-Pertua Negeri Tun Abdul Rahman Abbas and his wife Puan Majimur Sharif. Also present was Pulau Pinang Deputy Chief Minister Wan Dato Ahmad Zakiuddin Abdul Rahman. State Mufti Dato Wan Salim Wan Muhammad Noor presided the Doa prayers soon after the arrival of Sultan Nazrin and Tuanku Zara. Tonight, Sultan Nazrin and Tuanku Zara will attend a banquet hosted by the state government, with Tun Abdul Rahman and Puan Majimur also expected to be present. Tomorrow, Sultan Nazrin will hand over a contribution of 5,000 ringgit to the chairman of Masjid Jami' Sungai Glugur after performing Friday prayers at the mosque before departing with Tuanku Zara for the federal capital. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said the government will freeze toll rate hikes for all classes of vehicles at all 21 highways nationwide next year. In a statement released today, he said the freeze, as well as the abolition of a motorcycle toll at relevant areas, will incur the government a 994.43 million ringgit in compensation payments to relevant highway toll concessionaires. Lim said the decision was made by the cabinet during a weekly meeting on 12th December. Elaborating further, he said all 21 highway concessionaires are eligible for a toll rate hike in 2019, but have been frozen to alleviate the burden of rising living costs. He said the decision was a marked enhancement from the Budget 2019 announcement made on 2nd November, which froze all toll hikes next year for intra-city tolls only. As announced during the tabling of Budget 2019, the government will abolish toll for motorcyclists travelling through the first and second Pulau Pinang bridges, as well as through the second link in Johor, effective 1st January 2019. Now, the airspace and maritime border issue will be among the major discussion topics during next month's Malaysia-Singapore Joint Ministerial Committee meeting to be held in Singapore. The Malaysian government will be represented by Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah and Minister of Economic Affairs Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali, while Johor Menteri Besar Datuk Osman Sapian will represent the Johor State Government.
Mungkin pada kita itu kita akan menimbulkan salah satu daripada isu itulah dia. Kita akan bincang. Dan di situ nanti kita akan membuat satu ketetapan lah. Ini juga saya akan refer balik kepada pihak persekutuan lah.
Dato' Osman said this when asked whether the Johor government will send any representative to speak on their behalf, aside from cabinet ministers representing the federal government. About 5,400 students from B40 families who passed the Ujian Penilaian Sekolah Rendah or UPSR have qualified for the Maktab Rendah Sains Mara next year. Rural Development Minister Datuk Sri Rina Mohamed Harun said this number was 70% of the 7,760 quota of places offered to students from this group in 54 MRSM colleges throughout the country. Datuk Sri Rina said the amount exceeded the original target set by the Ministry of 65%. She added that 70% of students from B40 families qualified for MRSM next year, 20% from the middle-income families M40 and 10% from the high-income families T20.
Anda orang elit. Jadi kita dah sasarkan target at least sekurang-kurangnya 65%. So saya rasa daripada pihak kementerian itu dah langkah pertama yang kita dapat.
Datuk Sri Rina said this after launching a free haircut Segak ke Sekolah program at the People's Housing Project PPR in Jalan Jelate in Kuala Lumpur today. Now, about 2,000 poor students from several non-governmental organizations received donations of school uniforms under the Ceria ke Sekolah 2019 program to ensure children from poor families remain in schools. The program, jointly organized by the National Welfare Foundation, YKN, with the Magician Brothers Sdn Bhd, involved 12 non-governmental bodies or NGOs, which represent 12 welfare organizations in the country, including Sabah and Sarawak. The donations, amounting to 200,000 ringgit collected from private companies, were presented by the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development Political Secretary Dr. Zalia Mustafa to representatives of the NGOs at Putrajaya today. According to YKN Chief Executive Datin Paduka Che Asma Ibrahim, this initiative by YKN was an effort to tackle the number of school dropouts caused by poverty, as well as bring cheer to students from poor families. She further urged more private companies to sponsor essential school items through their corporate social responsibility programs to help reduce the burden of poor families. We begin with badminton's reigning champions Puchong United BC failed to make a comeback after losing to Ampang Jaya BC last night at the SS Purple League badminton tournament. Ampang Jaya BC, headed by team manager Ho Kek Mong, played a tight match to win it 9-6. This is the third consecutive win for Ampang Jaya BC after their win against Petaling BC and Kepong BC. The opening match showcased a powerful performance by world number 1 men's singles player Kento Momota. Momota, who represented Ampang Jaya, beat Puchong United's Lee Cheuk Yu 3-0, which contributed the first points for the club. The successive points were then contributed by Goh Jin Wei, who beat Puchong United's Ho Yen Mei 3-0. Puchong United gained some consolation with the pairing of Tan Chung Man and Goh Liu Ying, who beat Chan Peng Soon and Siobhan Lai Jamai, also resulting in a 3-0 win. In the second singles men's match, Ampang Jaya's Tan Jia Wei displayed a fantastic performance to deny the rise of Puchong United with a 3-0 win over Goh Giap Chin, which in turn resulted in a victory for Ampang Jaya BC.